Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lanyel Kuzar, and I'm the owner of Yes Event Decor and More. So lately, I've been getting a lot of questions on what do I do with the balloons after the event. So I wanted to make this quick video for you guys to let you know what I do. I know there's a lot of people who don't want to waste the balloons. They feel like, they've blown up all those balloons. They don't want to just pop them. So hopefully this will give you some ideas. All right, so let's get started. Before we start talking about the balloons, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do offer classes, okay? So if you guys want to sign up for any of my classes, visit my website. I'm going to put the link in the description. I have classes on balloon garlands and pricing your decorations and creating packages and creating quotes. So I know you guys reach out to me all the time with questions about how to manage your business. So I created these classes at a very affordable rate so you guys can sign up, get the information that you need, and also you can ask me whatever questions that you want, all right? So be sure to check out my classes. I'm gonna put a link in the description so that you can go to my website and sign up. All right, so back to the balloons and what I do after the event is over. So the first thing that I do is I give my clients the option to dispose of the balloons themselves. So either they can pop the balloons or they can keep them, okay? So I charge to go back to the event and clean it up. So if a client is only getting balloons from me and I don't have any other rental items at their event, I will give them that option to just pop the balloons or dispose of the balloons themselves, okay? So then they can save money because I don't have to charge them for going back to the event to clean up. So that's the first thing that I do. I give my clients the option to do whatever it is that they want to do with the balloons so I don't have to go back. So let's say that I do have to go back to the event because either I have other rentals there or the client pays me to go back and clean up the balloons. So the first thing that I do is I ask the client if they want to keep the balloons, because sometimes clients will say in the beginning, oh, just come back and pop the balloons. But then at the end of the event, they realize that they love the balloons and they don't want you to pop them. So I always ask them, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to start popping the balloons? Because I give them the option to keep them. So if they have a truck or a big enough car, they can take the balloons home. Or if the event is at their house, I ask them if they want to repurpose the balloons. So if the balloons are tied to a backdrop, I'll ask them if they want to put the balloons somewhere else in their house, okay? So I'll get some fishing line and tie the balloons somewhere else, okay? So I always ask the client before I start popping the balloons if they want to keep them or if they want to repurpose them and put them somewhere else in their house. Now, these balloon garlands are really big. So sometimes the client doesn't want to keep all those balloons, right? So if they don't want to keep the balloons, then I'll ask them if they want to give the balloons to the kids. I mean, normally when I come to these events, the kids are usually all around me watching what I'm doing with the balloons. It's like they're on balloon watch, watching what I'm doing. So then I'll ask if it's okay for me to give some of the balloons to the kids. So before you start popping balloons in front of kids, I would ask the parents if it's okay to give some of the balloons to the kids. Now you always want to ask because there may be a kid with a latex allergy. So you don't want to just give a kid a balloon. You want to ask first. But if the parents are okay with that, I just start giving the balloons from the balloon garland to the kids. So I just cut it up in clusters and then I give the balloons to the kids. And I'm telling you, sometimes that's like the highlight of the event to me because the kids are so excited. They get so much joy out of playing with these balloons. Another option is just to pop the balloons, right? So I know after doing all of that hard work, sometimes it's hard to pop your balloons, but trust me, if you're new in this industry, you'll get used to it. Because at the end of the day, it's like those balloons are not coming home with me. So you don't have any other option but to pop the balloons. And this is another thing that I have found that kids love doing. So sometimes I will let the older kids who are at the events help me pop the balloons. So they'll get some pins and they'll just start popping the balloons. So if the client doesn't want to keep them, they don't want to repurpose them, and there's no kids to give the balloons to, then you have to pop the balloons. Now let me give you guys a little tip, because lately what I've been doing is popping the balloons at the event, but then I put them in a garbage bag and actually bring them back to my house. And then what I do is I go through my balloons and I look for my 260Q balloons and I unattach those so that I can reuse them again. So for everyone who follows my channel, you know that I use 260Q balloons to build my balloon garland, and then I also use 260Q balloons to add my smaller balloons, okay? And because of this balloon shortage, I've been just reusing those 260Q balloons, all right? So the next time I have an event or the next time I do a balloon garland, I'll show you guys how I unattach them and unravel them so that I can reuse them again. So I always make sure when I'm building my balloon garland and I'm tying my 260Q balloons, I try to tie them in a way where I can untie them later and reuse the balloons. So that's just a tip for you guys. Something that I've been doing lately is I pop the balloons at the event, put the balloons in a bag, bring it home, and then I go through the balloons, find my 260Q balloons, and then I untie them so that I can reuse them again, all right? So that's what I do with the balloons at the end of the event. I always get this question from my clients or the guests at the event, because they're always looking at me to see what is she gonna do with all those balloons. And when I tell them that I'm gonna pop the balloons, it's like, are you serious? You're gonna pop all those balloons after all that hard work? And at first, when I first started this business, you know, it used to hurt, like it was hard for me to pop the balloons after I had put all that work into it. But now, I mean, I'm just so exhausted when it comes to my events. I'm like, okay, what are we doing with these balloons? If you don't want them, then they're getting popped because they're not coming home with me. So trust me, if you're a new balloon artist, you will get used to it. There are times, you know, where I try to convince people, especially when my clients are having events at their house. I'm like, just keep the balloons. Just keep them, because I don't think people realize how long these balloons will last. I mean, you can keep balloons up for a month and they'll still look good. They may not look as good as the first day when you first created it, but they'll still look good, right? They'll still look good even after a month if you use quality balloons. So if you're using Tuftex, if you're using Qualitex, if you're using Simpertex, I have used those balloons and seen them last for at least a month, okay? So don't forget to sign up for my classes. I do have a balloon garland class. It's gonna be virtual, and we're gonna build a balloon garland together. And as part of that class, I'll show you how I unravel my 260Q balloons, all right? So if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you in my next video.